I'm sorry.
Vote.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Yeah, aye.
Aye, motion passes. Minutes have been approved. I'm sorry, I had a moment.
That's all right. They'll get
All
worse.
right. Yeah, I hope not. All right, now to the new business. We have Mr. Mills.
All right, good afternoon. We have one for public safety, that's for the Curry Kitchen LLC, DBA The Curry Kitchen, located at 3799 McFarland Boulevard East. The hours of operation will be Monday, they'll be operating 6 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., closed on Tuesday. The occupancy, and again, it's a restaurant retail liquor license they're applying for. The occupancy number low is 245. I have the applicant here to answer any questions you guys have, as well as the fire chief, some fire marshal here as well.
All right, would the applicant like to come up?
Yes.
Do we have any questions for the applicant?
No, I do. Where is 3799
Can you-
from?
Sorry, 3799 is in the McFarland Boulevard, is in the old Charlie's restaurant.
The what restaurant?
Charlie's.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, Charlie.
McFarland.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
So we've got them not flooding anymore now, right? Can we just do a big project on that exit coming off 350?
Better. It's supposed to
Please
be
state
better.
your name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Mitul Patel, and my address is 326 Turtle Bay Circle, Northport, Alabama 35473.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, was there an operating business in the location when you took it over?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
It was Old Charlie's before, and they shut down for 2 years.
Closed down for 2 years, so
Yes,
you
and
took
then
over the
I-
empty space?
Yes, and then
Yeah.
I bought the property, and then I do renovation in and outside, and then I'm just putting Indian restaurant over there.
All right, and do you have other restaurants or experience serving and selling alcohol?
I do have a package store which is called Pickens County,
Okay.
but this is my first location in the city.
Okay,
That's
first restaurant?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
And what were those hours again?
We open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. except Tuesday.
So you won't be open late on weekends?
No, sir, no, sir.
11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, any more questions?
No, ma'am.
Motion to forward to council recommending approval.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll see
Good
you
luck.
next week.
Thank you.
All right, motion passes. All right, next we have Chief Blankley.
Clark.
Okay, Chief Clark, I'm
Chief
sorry.
Clark.
And this is a authorization to execute a professional service agreement with the UA.
Yes.
Mhm.
This is gonna be with the Culver House School, the Data Analytics Department, and this is gonna be for our West Alabama Human Trafficking Task Force operations.
Okay,
They work with us on the data and analytics, and also they have a grant to help out with some of the cost of some of our details and stuff like that to go along. So,
How'd y'all get paired up, Chief?
I'm sorry?
How do y'all get paired up? Did they come to us and say, we have the data processing?
They did because they were working in this area,
Okay.
is the law enforcement related area, and studying that with analytics, and then they had some practical solutions how we could better make our investigations more effective and our details more effective on how we reach out and get, a lot of those details are people coming to us. As far as the criminal act is them coming to us, so that's what they help us with.
And is it exclusively prostitution and human trafficking, or is it narcotics as well? Or?
No, it's related to human trafficking / prostitution and then IDing, also family trafficking with minors and things like that, child predation and things like that online. So
And does immigrant trafficking, does that fall under the human trafficking operations we do?
it does on work related. Ours are based out of a lot of it's sexual predators related, which sort of prostitution and things like that, and then also the child sex trafficking or child sex, people being predatory towards children, either online or reaching out and grooming them to meet up for sex and things like that.
Does the agreement, does it have a set lifetime? Is it 6 months, a year, or ongoing?
I believe this one works under a two-year grant
2-year grant,
project,
okay.
but I'm not sure on that time limit.
All right. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, is there anything else for Chief Clark? All right,
Thank you.
can I get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes. All right, next we have the proposed site for future fire station number 5. Was everybody?
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
I just want to give a brief intro, and then Chief and Mr. Thompson will give you more of a technical overview. As you know, we're kind of reviewing our properties that we own within the city for looking for operational efficiencies. If there's things that we can kind of put back out into the private sector, or things we can kind of optimize from a footprint standpoint. And we did some analysis for what was the 3200 site versus some other options for potential locations for Fire Station 5. And we did some network analysis, which is a nice way of putting just making sure coverage area for the fire department works for response times, which did check off, so we'd have no negative impacts on there. And so we identified a site, we've got right here, yes. Right here, which is near our public safety logistics facility and also the Curry facility, and I'll let Mr. Thompson and Chief walk through some of the specifics on that. This would be a benefit, obviously. We own the property, so there would be no cost for that. Then it would just be a construction site, and then there's a corresponding item after this. But I'll turn it over to Mr. Thompson and Chief to walk through more of the technical elements, and if you have any additional questions for me, I'll be happy to help.
So one of the challenges that we had when we started looking for a Fire Station 5 location was years ago under Chief Martin's time in office, we built Fire Station number 1 and combined 2 fire stations. And what it did was, due to the railroad tracks right there on Greensboro Avenue, it caused a lot of delays when we started responding south. And so we kind of had a gap there. And so we started really looking at how can we build a fire station south of the railroad tracks to kind of bridge this gap between Skyland Boulevard and 15th Street. And so we've kind of looked at a lot of different properties, and like Mr. Moore or Brendan talked about, we ran the analytics of response times and stuff like this, and properties that we could easily acquire. And we already have this property here. This is our current site of our public safety logistics facility, and so we're going to have our fleet offices there, our logistics and our administration offices there. And so this is just we've got this parking lot, so that's kind of how we landed on this property.
Okay.
So, if I heard you right, I thought the administrative offices were going to be in 6, or we're going to be in 5 now?
We're going to split those up because there's just not a lot of offices. So there'll be administrative portions at Station 6 and administrative portions here at this place too.
Okay. So what number is the fire station on the corner of Greensboro across from Wells Fargo?
That's Fire Station 1. So when that was built, I'm going to say that was built in probably 2009 or 2010, if I remember correctly. It was right before the tornado. They closed down Fire Station 5, which was south of the railroad tracks. And
Where south was it, Chief?
Sir?
Where south was it?
It was just right by the railroad tracks, right there at Southside Drive, right across from
Okay, I know.
the golf cart place.
Yep.
That was the old Fire Station 5 spot, and Station 1 was downtown. And so both of those fire stations were some of our older fire stations and needed to be replaced. And so we looked at this at the time. They looked at the model of combining into one big fire station, but what that ended up doing is because of the railroad tracks, that created a delay on the south side.
Okay.
And so that's kind of why we've been exploring for several years, trying to get another fire station in between 15th Street and Skyland Boulevard around that Greensboro Avenue corridor, between Fire Station 1 and Fire Station 7. And so this will allow us quicker response times to the Rosedale Court area, up and down Greensboro and several areas, and even on the southern part of West End. This will afford us a quicker response territory to those.
Do we still own the property, the old 5?
No, I think we sold that to North Star at the time.
And I think they sold it to somebody else.
Okay.
So I got a question. I feel dumb for not knowing the answer. We bought the old car dealership on Greensboro, right there at the intersection of 10th Avenue. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. 3200.
What's that?
10th
For
Avenue
the
and Greensboro.
logistics building.
We're gonna talk, that's really the next agenda item, but if you wanna go ahead, we can kind of combine the two because they are interrelated.
Well, let's,
Is this,
yeah,
this is not for a vote, this is just for, information, right, Randy? This agenda item,
As far as I know.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so,
I mean, at this point, I don't know necessarily if we need a vote of the city council.
I'm not ready. I mean, we're talking what, 10 to $12 million?
I hope not.
Wasn't the other one we built for Mercedes 10?
That was a little bit.
Well,
different.
anyway, I'm not ready. I mean, I'm only an
Well,
alternate today.
and
I'm not
Councilor
ready for
Busby,
that.
today is more what I would think of as an
Info.
advisory discussion.
Okay.
Check,
And so,
okay.
and I think to Mayor Maddox's point, how we look at combining the next item, the goal is that 3,200 existing.
Is 3,200, is that the old, what was it, a BMW dealership?
Yes, sir, correct. And so that is obviously on a key corner, and in the past, we have done RFPs for city properties that are more designed to attract a tax-producing use or a sales tax-centric use that is a desirable corner. We have had a variety of inquiries. Obviously, until we were able to figure out that this location may potentially work for Fire Station 5, we were unable to look at disposing of that property or using those funds, if it was sold, to then be transitioned to put into pay for a fire station. I'm gonna let Mr. Thompson talk. It won't be at a 10 to 12 number. We were having a much lower number conversation a moment ago. But we're not, as Mayor Maddox alluded to at this stage, of any type of voting. This is more just of advisement, of looking at how we're adjusting pieces of property, obviously within your review, to try to optimize, try to generate some revenue to offset some costs
Okay,
coming up.
and since we acquired that, though, it was being used as sort of a fleet maintenance site, correct?
Fleet, logistics,
Administration. So we're basically taking that and now using our other facilities and kind of maximizing our existing property and trying to get the old, what you mentioned, BMW facility 3,200 back on the tax rolls.
So I think probably it provides some clarity with this is that, so in 2019, Chief Smith, really when Chief Smith took office in 2018, one of his goals was to get a fire station south of those railroad tracks. And so the site that came open in 2019 was the old BMW site, and the city purchased that site for $2.3 million at the time. We also believed it could not only be the home of a new Fire Station 5, that it could serve possibly as the fire administration building, and since it did have some fleet maintenance capabilities with it, that it could potentially be fleet maintenance. As soon as we started looking at the planning for that, COVID-19 happened. And so at that point, all planning for anything in the future shut down immediately. Fast forward to, we get through COVID, and then in late 22 and early 23, Hargrove Memorial Methodist Church reached out to the city and offered to sell their site basically for the value of the land for a new Fire Station 6. And thankfully, the city made that decision, and Fire Station 6 will be open in a couple of months.
So we shut down the one at the VA, right?
Right.
And moved it to that Hargrove Methodist site.
And as part of that, we also got, as part of that site, was a large gymnasium that had office space in it as well. So we began to thinking about how could we be more efficient and effective with this site and the 3,200 site, knowing that, okay, we only need a small amount, we don't need as much property now for a new fire station. So we began to look, I tasked operations working with fire administration to do the analytics, where is the best site we could locate Fire Station 5, preferably on property that didn't cost any money. Because the site that we currently have at 3,200, if you do authorize a request for proposals on the site, we will get much more value if we can sell the whole site and not have a fire station on that site. This site came up as the best location, and it also works well with our long-term planning because we have, last year the council authorized $2 million for a new Tuscaloosa Fire and Rescue Fleet Center. The Fleet Center is going to be on site and it will be located in the logistics portion of the logistics building that PD will be vacating once they have their new facility. So the sale of that property, the other good thing about this, if we were able to sell the 3,200 property, my recommendation to the council is those dollars be escrowed into an account and used eventually for the new construction of a Fire Station 5. So, what I told Hollis and his team is that my recommendation to the council is right now we do not have any in our 5-year capital budgets. We do not have any funding for a fire station, a new fire station. By doing that, if we were able to sell the property, then that would give us $2.3 million would go a long way into building a fire station. Fire Station 6 was $6 million. There's of course, some of that is property acquisition. 1.6 million of that's property acquisition. I think also we can build fire stations. I think more, how's the best word? Economically, and still accomplish the mission. Yesterday, Mayor Stimson was talking about in Mobile. They're able to build fire stations for $3.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge our team to do the same. So I think the 2.3 million would be a really good start in that direction to get us there where we could get Fire Station 5 up and running. Right now it is consolidated under Fire Station 1. So these two things are in tandem with each other. And then, Mr. Busby, the last thing that I would say, well, two things. One is if we got it back on the tax rolls, I think that would be a huge benefit. But again, we're in an uncertain economic time. I don't think any of us around this table could say we're going to have a list of people a mile long for that piece of property. But but we'll see. The second thing is it does allow us to move administration closer to logistics with this IC command, and also move fire inspection and fire prevention over there near Fire Station 6. I like the idea of our people near the stations we serve. The goal of fire administration, the goal of fire prevention, and the goal of inspections is to serve the public and to serve those firemen in those fire stations. And I think one of the things 3,200 did was create some of that distance. Mm-hmm. And I think this gives us back that connection to our core mission of serving the administration, serving our citizens, serving our firefighters in those stations. And so I know that we'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Well, I just want to say, I don't know whose district. Is this my part of my district? It doesn't matter. But my point is that in my community, and Councilor Wilson has probably heard the same concerns. We have had concerns, public safety concerns about the trains sitting on the tracks for
A number of
As long as they want to.
Yes,
Yeah.
as long as they want until they get ready to move. And so that always causes concerns and calls. So I love this idea of you got fire station number 1 on this end, and then behind that you'll have fire station number 5. So I love the idea. I think this will give the community a lot of comfort, knowing that we got both ends covered no matter which way they need to come.
Agreed.
Chief, how are we now dealing with a fire south of the Greensboro, of the tracks?
So currently,
So if you know where the curve is on Greensboro Avenue, the site of the infamous,
Southern Dairy
the
Curve.
site of infamous Curve Lounge. If you're coming from downtown, you go down Greensboro, and you pass this 3,200, and there's a big curve there. If there's a fire there, who responds to it?
so a fire at that location, if all units are in service, you're going to get fire engine 1-5, which coming out of Station 1 at 15th Street. You're also going to pick up Station 7, which is off Skyland Boulevard. Station 7 off Skyland Boulevard, right there in that area, is probably going to be the first unit there. And so how we deal with that, sometimes, it's always a gamble when you come out of the fire station on Greensboro Avenue at 15th Street. If you go left, there's a chance you're going to get caught by the train. So right there, being that far south, most likely they're going to go and get on 359 and come down and get off at 35th Street. And so that's an option, or they can hang a ride on 15th Street and come back down and go down 10th. And either way, either of those will avoid those railroad tracks, but it does cause a little bit of a delay. So even in that area, 7's going to be there first, but if the train's there and it causes problems, then it causes a little bit of a delay in these other units getting there. And so even if the structure fire, or if the fire come in at 3,200, we've got options. We can go around 10th, or we can go down 359, but that causes a little bit of a delay.
And I'm glad Chief mentioned 7. By the way, his heart is with Station 7.
Yes, sir.
He came from being captain.
7
of station.
on Skyland.
Yes, sir. That will be the next station we look at after 5.
But this proposed site or discussed site, if we put 3,200 out for RFP, correct, and we get 2 and change or 3, and so we've got a head start on building out that site, and it's going to be at fire admin. Are there also operations? I mean, going there. Also operating fire units responding to fires?
From this location?
You're going to have admin and a full operating station there?
Yes, sir. So just for reference, this is the proposed fire station site.
That's the police logistics up there.
This is the proposed police logistics building. This is our current fire logistics training building. So we have training classrooms in here. We have some administrative offices in here. And this building houses our logistics center. This is the building that right now we share with PE. And so we've got a couple of the bays, and they've got the majority of them, but they're eventually going to move all of their equipment out of this building into that one. This will be our fleet building. And so this will be set up for a fire truck shop. Right now we've got 2 bays in there, the ability to put all our trucks on lifts. And with our fleet maintenance division, that has saved the city hundreds of thousands of dollars probably over the years. And having to outsource repairs, we're able to do those inside. And so the fire department will have both of these buildings. This will be the police building. Police will maintain one little corner of this, but this is our training facility. It's got a training room. Like I said, we would move our administrative offices here, and then some of them would be at Station 6, but the fire admin would be here, and then the proposed fire station would be here. They're on the same property, but they're operating independently. And so this will be the fire station, just like any other fire station we've got in the city, with the same setup and design. But then in their back door would be, the training division and the chief's office.
I don't have any other questions.
All right, so this was just for informing us today. Is there anything else to?
I think what we would like is maybe we come bring this back at your next public safety meeting and answer any further questions. I would like a blessing by the city council to move forward on Fire Station 5, because if the council said we don't want Fire Station 5 at this site, then I think we have to look at the 3,200 site, because kind of the dominoes that would fall is, okay, we know 5 is going to be there. Let's go ahead then put a 3,200 piece of property up on the market, and then we begin working towards that goal. So we would like your blessing.
It would seem to me like the council response would hinge on the 3,200. I mean, I think the first thing we would be asked is, can we proceed with putting out an RFP to sell 3,200, right? Because there's no funding identified otherwise, is there?
No, but I want you to feel comfortable with the idea of us doing this.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a better location in some ways.
I think it's needed.
And having all that together sort of makes sense to me.
It will make it a big campus that would encompass, both police and fire, and them being able to collaborate together.
The other good thing too I like about dividing up our administration a little bit, not the administration, but having inspections at another facility, is if something happened on this campus, similar to April 27, 2011, we will have backup in another part of the city as well that we could move quickly to. What the fire department has done with looking at taking that gym and putting it into almost a mini training center is pretty impressive. So I like it too. It gives us a little bit more options and flexibility. But again, I hear what you're saying. You would like to maybe put it up for sale, see what we get. We would not move forward with a Fire Station 5 construction without the revenues from a sale of 3,200. It'd be, frankly, Mr. Busby, I don't know how we would do it otherwise.
And my memory is, I think we got that location because it sat there not moving for a while, from the old BMW place.
And that is a concern. If you remember, or if you, as you know, the property that sits in front of Rosedale Court Phase 3 has been on the market. I thought Brennan was over there. I don't know where Brennan is.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
The vacant lot.
And so given the current macroeconomics, I mean, we talked about that earlier. It's like,
I think as far as the existing 3,200, I mean, I think Mayor Maddox kind of nailed it. I wouldn't have, if you would have asked me a month ago, we had 2 to 3 inquiries, right? Now I'm not sure what that looks like after what I just checked earlier, but I don't think it hurts, one, to put it out there for a period of time. If people respond, it is not required that council has to take any action. Beauty of an RFP is you can design it for what you want to see on the site. So is that sales tax producing? Is that some type of use that's good for the community, property tax centric? Y'all can kind of help design that element. And then you can always pull it back, and if macro conditions improve, you can drop it back out. Mr. Bobbitt has a list of, we're well over 100 at this point, that it gets, any RFPs get distributed out for real estate. And then in addition of those 100, it also includes your association of realtors or any kind of firms, et cetera. That includes regional elements as well. So it goes well beyond Tuscaloosa when that goes out. So.
But it was a good informative brief, and it certainly sets the conditions inside our heads, knowing what we need to be looking for and looking at.
I think if we're looking to Mayor Maddox's point of a sequence of steps, at least preparing it, having it, even if there's no action taken or you didn't get a bite, for lack of a better way to put it, on 3,200, we still have the document prepped, ready to go, conditions improved, boom, drop it, get it out, and it would be a much more just intensive process if we just kind of stalled on it. So,
again, I think it's important to have this committee and ultimately the council's blessing on this. Building fire stations those are 50-year commitments of the city. I mean, you think about how long fire stations exist and last, it's a long time. And so maybe if I don't know if there's something to be tabled, but we come back to you again, make certain you're good with it. And then in May, I don't know if it's feasible to have a draft of what an RFP may look like, but certainly have you guys review it, make any changes before we send it out to the greater public. Because I do agree with Mr. Moore. I would like to see conditions in there of what we expect for the sale of the property. That's a really great site. The economic conditions that have presented themselves in the past week will not always be this way. I think we all have lived long enough to know there are peaks and valleys and how the economy rolls. So we can create conditions and be patient and get something there that will serve the community as well, be tax producing, and give us the foundational dollars for a new Fire Station 5 in the future.
and I will say with the economic conditions, one of the things that are continuing to move, at least as of a Sunday call and a Monday call, anything that's vehicular centric, the existing 3,200 site, you're obviously near 359, you're at a large intersection, so it would call for more vehicle-centric use. I think that those appear to still be moving, at least as of this weekend and Monday morning. So that is reassuring to me that there are maybe potential users out there with a very specific targeted demographic.
I don't know if we need this, but I would make a motion that we go forward in exploring all this.
Okay, does that sound good? Okay, so that is a motion to continue to look at the proposed site for fire station number 5. So we have a motion?
Yeah, I don't know that we.
I don't know if we need it or
I don't know
not.
if we
but-
need it.
I think
You want us to do it?
I don't know procedurally if we need a vote of any kind, but if maybe we commit to putting this back on the agenda again at your next public safety meeting.
Okay.
That sounds
Why
fair?
don't we
That
nod
sounds-
north and south on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
And Mayor, that was gonna be the
Which
next
is the-
item,
basically the
Councilor
same
Busby. If y'all want, we can, Mr. Bobbin and I have worked extensively over the years on these types of topics, so we have language that, depending on the desires and needs, we can construct and easily get to council as far as what you would want to see on that site. So we can easily do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
So we'll look forward to hearing this at the next Public Safety Committee meeting. Is there anything else to come before this committee? If not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.